I was not joking when I said this is one of the worst people I've talked about, because we're at part 4 and I'm nowhere near being done. So on June 3rd of 2011, the day after Israel gets to Indiana to visit his mom, Lauren goes missing. On June 8th of 2011, Israel left his mom's house, rented a car, and he drove to Essex, Vermont, which was over 900 miles away. This is 110% confirmed. We know for a fact Israel did this. He abducted the Couriers. They were a married couple. Their names were Bill and Lorraine, and they suffered immensely because of Israel. And again, because Israel was killing in so many different states, people weren't like tracking him. He wasn't on any of the police's radar because he wasn't staying in one area. So when Bill and Lorraine went missing, no one suspected Israel. No one even really knew he was there. We didn't know that he killed them until he confessed it and gave details of the case that no one but law enforcement or the killer knew after he had been arrested. He said that he broke into their home, tied them up, and drove them to an abandoned farmhouse in the middle of the woods. He killed and then essayed and strangled Lorraine. Their bodies have never been found. Obviously, this guy is gross and demented. Everything I've told you up until this point, except for Bill and Lorraine's murder, was a maybe Israel did it, but we're not 100% sure. And when I was doing my research, I was like, I don't know if he killed all these people. There's so many like other possibilities. But then I learned about this fact, and now I'm convinced he killed all of them. It turns out that, if you remember, Israel loved to hunt and kill. And he said this all the time in the interviews. And honestly, that was him downplaying it, because he loved to hunt and kill so much that he hid murder kits all over the country. He had over 12 murder kits in different states, so that at any time that he wanted to kill, he could leave Alaska or leave whatever state he was living in, go kill, and then come back and be totally undetected, because he didn't have to go buy anything. They were already there, and he wasn't from there. So a lot of times his victims would be suspected of some other local killer or some other local crime, and no one thought that someone would be flying in, getting a murder kit, killing these people, and then leaving again. So that's part of the reason he got away with so much, and that's another reason why we have no idea how many victims were his. He had 12 murder kits across the United States at minimum. One of those kits he had put in New York in Parrishville, which is where Bill and Lorraine went missing and were killed. He put a murder kit there 2 years earlier. So we know for 2 years he planned on flying in and killing someone. We don't know if he was planning on killing Bill and Lorraine, or if they were just kind of like there at the wrong time and he just selected them at random, but we know that he at least was planning on killing there for at least 2 years. Now we're going to get into another, we think it's Israel, but we don't know for sure. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Boca killer, but this was a killer who committed 3 crimes in Boca Raton in Florida in early 2007, and I want to tell you guys about them. So this started off with a killer who wore a mask and sunglasses, which, by the way, this sketch looks real familiar to the surveillance photo that we see of Israel Keyes when he robbed that bank back in New York. On March 23rd of 2007, a woman by the name of Randy Gorenberg, her mom said that she loved nature, she had a wonderful feeling of warmth about her, and she made everyone else feel that way too, which is just a beautiful thing to say about your daughter. So the day that she left home, she was going to the Town Center Mall. She bought a John Legend CD and then left the mall around 1:15, and we see her leaving the mall on surveillance footage. 45 minutes after seeing her leave the mall on the security camera footage, someone calls 911 because they hear gunshots and see someone shoved out of a car right in an ATM drive-through parking lot. She did not survive being shoved out of the car, and we think that the reason that she was shoved is because she wouldn't give up her ATM pin, or she didn't have enough money in her account, and whoever kidnapped her from the mall and forced her into the car wanted to get her money. And again, we remember that Israel Keyes is very money motivated, and normally his victims are robbed. 5 months later at the town center, a woman and her son, they are unnamed in this, went into the Town Center Mall to do some shopping. As they were leaving, a man slipped into her car. She had just put her son in the car seat, and as she was like walking around the side of the car to load her groceries and then walking in to sit down, at some point he slipped in the car, and when she sat in her seat, he had a gun pointed at her, and he said to like be quiet and that they had to drive around. So for 45 minutes he made her drive around to different ATMs and pull out money. He got lost a few times, so she said she could tell he wasn't familiar with the area based on like the way he said road names and all that kind of stuff, so he wasn't from there. He got lost quite a few times, but made her go to multiple ATMs and pull out money, but her account was getting low, and she says she remembers every time they stopped she was worried it was going to decline and he was just going to kill them right there. After a while, he blindfolds and restrains her, and then he starts to drive. And while this is happening, She remembers like praying and being absolutely terrified, but she does notice that he keeps checking on the baby and being like, does he need water? Should we give him a bottle? And she's like, no, he's fine. So to some degree, he was worried about the child. He drove back to the mall, left her restrained in the car, and stole a bunch of stuff from her and then left. The police found her, and at first they almost didn't believe her story, but eventually they do. And on December 12th of 2007, and this was already really scary, but bringing up this occurrence in Florida is still very traumatizing, and this next part of the story is why. I'm gonna have to tell you in part 5 because this is getting really long, but I'll post it right after this video.
Guys, it's officially been over a year since I started telling you guys true crime stories. Because it's been a year, I was all nostalgic, I was looking back on some of my videos, and I realized I never really have introduced myself or told you guys that much about me. So I thought it'd be fun today to do like a little introductory video, tell you guys a little bit about myself, and just kind of tell you guys about the last year. So to start off, I do get some questions about what my TikTok handle is. Some people don't know like what it stands for, and it's actually just my first name. My name is pronounced Bergen, but it looks kind of funky in the spelling, so a lot of people think it's like Bergine, which is totally fine. I respond to anything because it is a funny spelling. The fun thing about it though is that I've never met anyone with my name and spelling. I currently live in North Carolina with my husband, our newborn. He's actually 11 weeks old this week, and then our 2 dogs. I have a pit bull named Coda and a shepherd named Ella, and we absolutely adore them. They are our first babies. My husband is from North Carolina, which is why we live here now, but we actually met up in Alaska because I'm from Alaska. I'm actually from North Pole, Alaska. If you scroll down on my page super far, I used to do photography. If you go into those videos, you'll see some videos about North Pole, Alaska, and just Alaska in general. I absolutely love being from Alaska. We actually got married up there last summer, and we got married on an island in the middle of the ocean. We go fishing there every year. I introduced my husband to this place that we go every single year. We go adventuring and camping, and then we do a bunch of fishing there. So when my husband and I first started dating, we went there a whole bunch with my family, and now it's just like a special place to us. So we decided to get married there, and I'm very, very fortunate. My husband and I have been together for almost 7 years at this point. We were in Alaska together for about 2 years, and then we moved to Hawaii for 1 year, and now we've been in North Carolina for almost 4 years. And I started filming these videos back in July of last year, and I had this video blow up in October. That was around the time that I was like, I'm gonna start doing this more seriously and telling you guys stories more often. And almost exactly a month later, I found out that I was pregnant. And keep in mind that I had a full-time job as a bar manager, and I was going to school full-time, so obviously I wasn't able to post as much as I would have liked, but I still got to post quite a bit. And we started the series of 50 states, 50 serial killers, which you guys have been loving, and I really appreciate all the love and support. Right now, I'm currently actually in my final semester of my bachelor's. I'm actually majoring in psychology, and then I hope to do something either with early childhood education or something with criminology. I've always found both kind of fascinating, which is actually what brought me into the true crime world and got me into telling you guys stories in the first place. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I've been officially posting for just over a year, and I've been a mom for almost 2.5